Welcome to the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable. It is time to talk about Element Nutritional Sciences. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. Rob Simpson here, along with Vishal Vatura, who's over there upstairs in the penthouse with me. Had a kid. Downstairs would be TK Indochina, and directly below me is Mr. Chris Perry, the man, the myth, the legend. Gentlemen, where do we want to start? Who wants to go first, talking about a company under the CEO, Stuart Lowther, who's been popping a little bit this summer?
I'll start off with this one, I believe, Robert.
Okay.
Element Nutrition is the company. It's been out for a short while on the CSE. Stock has been very volatile. Lots of people in, lots of people out, lots of day trading. Most recently, in the last week or so in September, it's shot up from around 65 cents to over the 80-cent mark, which is pretty great to see. Not really sure why that big jump. There hasn't been any news that was groundbreaking. The company does lose money and recently put out financials, but I think what people are really seeing here is sort of a bit of a coloring outside the lines of the plant-based foods move that the markets have been in. Element Nutrition has a product called Rejuvenate that if you looked at it, it would remind you branding-wise very much of a lot of products that you see regularly on drugstore shelves. It's essentially a beverage for helping people rebuild muscle, preventing muscle loss, increasing strength and energy. Not so much an athletic beverage, but more a beverage for those of us of a certain age who are starting to make this noise when we get out of a chair. Once you get to the dad noise, when you get up out of a chair, you start looking at products like these and saying, really, stops muscle loss, hey?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There are a lot of benefits of the Rejuvenate product. It's got widespread coverage. It's in stores. You can see it. And what's really interesting about these guys is they have not done the, hey, we're going to develop a product here as a public company route. They haven't done the, we've developed a product, but you can't see it anywhere route. They've done the, we've developed it, you can see it, it's in stores, it's for sale online. You can buy it in most places where you got to buy such things. And now it's a public company, right? So there's an actual business there. A lot of the plant-based food companies that we don't need to mention or give undue praise to, they're really just like, we're going to build a product. And the market comes in and says, here's a $100 million valuation. Congratulations on your plan. Element has been around for a couple of years. I think I first heard of them maybe a year and a half ago. They've been bouncing around privately, putting together big partnerships with some big chains before they came public. And now that they're public, they've got a $65 million valuation, which to me is a little light in comparison to some of the others out there. But probably, people who haven't noted the plant-based boom would say 65 million for still an early stage company is probably a little, maybe a lean on the heavy side. Once you start getting in the comparables, you realize that this is actually undervalued product. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. It's right in my wheelhouse. I've tried it. It tastes fine. I won't say it's Jack Daniels, but it's, it'll do you for an early morning kick out of bed. And, I think these guys have avoided a lot of the hype news releases that generally come in this sector right now. And they're just building partnerships in distribution, which I think is the absolute way to go. When you can see the product on the shelves, you're risking very little buying into the company.
Yeah. I just want to say too, I've just recently put my parents on actually Boost, the Boost protein one, but they're at that age where it's time to take those multivitamin / protein drinks. However, I'm going to now take a look at this. I usually pick up the Boost at Costco. I don't see these guys there, but we're at that part, where we're at that type of where the consumer now is, looking at ingredients, right? They are looking at more healthier alternatives. I mean, the sugar count here, this is what actually surprised me because, my parents are diabetic as well. So, we're looking at the sugar and all that good stuff, dairy free. And I think the consumer is at that point now where they will be spending that extra few dollars that they have to get a much more better and cleaner product. But for the future trend, this is big because not only are older people trying to stay healthy and young, but even the younger guys. And I see here in their future plans, they have plans for even releasing protein bars and powders and gummies. So maybe that will be focused on the younger crowd as well.
Vishal, before you come back and talk about the volatility element that's been going on the last couple of months, because I saw a pop in early July as well. What are you analyzing here, DK, when you're wanting to invest some cash?
So, like Chris said, activity-wise, there's not much that's happened since it's fresh, but it's been raising cash through issuing shares. So I think it has 5 million in cash, and basically almost nothing else on the balance sheet. So it's a clean company. So they have a fresh start. But what I find interesting is the business model itself, and this is an issue that is I think it's a Western issue where the collaboration between retail and online is not there, where these guys have both outlets, where they have the online outlet, so you can go onto their website and actually buy the product, and you have the retail, just go to the store and buy at that site. This is something China has done really well. They call it the new retail. It's a combination of the two, mainly through its Alibaba, Tencent and stuff, and Pinduoduo, that kind of allow people to go onto the platform. You can go into the store, compare prices really quickly, and order direct to you, which makes your cost as a company a little lower compared to the other competitors was strictly retail. And if you have good connections with your distributors and your retailers, I think that kind of leverages them to have a good spot on the shelf for their product to sell. And it's kind of reflecting in their sales figures. I think as of the end of June, they had $1 million in sales. And just last year, they had about $700,000 in sales. So the products are obviously selling.
Michelle, why is this thing bouncing around?
Yeah, so we alluded to it earlier today, but there was actually a pop. The stock closed above 10% on the day today with 186,000 shares traded when the average volume is usually 140,000. Just quickly here, I just want to take a look at the historical data, and you can see here actually we've had some big buyers coming in here. So we had, as we said, 186,000 shares traded today. 2 days ago not 2 days, last week on the 10th, we had 125,000 shares, 208,000 shares. So we've had some big buyers coming in here in August as well, 313,000, 343,000. We did take a look at the news. A lot of it has to do here with, board members and a medical advisory board. There was a correction in earnings at the end of the month on August 31st, so almost 2 weeks ago. But I mean, the stock was actually just ranging even with that correction. Maybe some insiders are loading up. I'm not really sure here, but there is a big volume increase, and there has been in the past few weeks here. Big 10% pop here, and I find this interesting because we've actually broken out of this range here that we've held since basically mid-July. We had that close on the 10th. The day after on that retest, nothing really happened, and then today, boom, a gap up pop. So that's actually a very bullish signal here, and you can see here not only have we closed above a range here or broken out of a range, I've drawn this trend line here as well, connecting all these highs here that were trending downwards, and we've actually just broken that as well. So technically we're looking now at around the 89 to 90 cent level, or basically where previous highs were for this stock. And if that's taken out, we're looking at new record highs here.
Gentlemen, let's go around the horn and figure out what you're doing with my cash if you're going to invest at this moment with Element Nutritional Sciences, and we'll start with Chris.
Well, I like it a lot. I think that look, if I'm putting on my black hat, I like the fact that they've tied the product design to existing products that are on the shelves. There's going to be a little bit of product confusion. It's a sneaky thing to do, but it's a way to get your brand out there. And it's going to garner a little bit of trust from the aged population that they're really going for. If they can take the basis of that and expand out into a number of new SKUs, their revenue is bound to jump. Once they've established those distribution deals with the first SKU, relatively simple to get 2 and 3 and 5. So they're on track. I like that someone's sneakily acquiring stock, and that, as you can see on the volume, it's not a lot of stock that's being acquired, but it's moving the stock price significantly, which tells me there's not a lot of people out there selling the stock. So if I was looking at this, I'd say you don't want to chase. You don't want to be the guy who's like out there desperately trying to get it before it jumps to $1, because you never know, someone can just be playing games. But I kind of like the way they've set this thing up. I like that they're not being crazy promotional. They're definitely trying to get the story out there, but they're not saying, hey, we're going to do mushrooms next. It's just an honest to goodness drugstore brand that if they get any sort of real pickup, if the technology that they have really proves out, the reviews that I'm seeing of it are pretty much great. I don't see any reason why this can't be a climber.
All right, we'll go from Chris to the other basement apartment to TK.
Yeah, I think this one I'll stay away from. I won't put any of your money because it's pretty exposed to raw material effects. So it manufactures its products and etc. You know what goes into the products, and that's pretty sensitive to price changes in raw materials. So if you notice from their balance sheet, inventories and accounts receivables are both increasing at a faster clip than sales, which kind of shows that the quality of sales might have reduced, and they're making net purchases with distributors before they need to, render services, which is a way of trying to control the cost. So I would wait out and see, as the brand kind of was, what's important for these guys is establishing their brand and being able to get those relations a little better. And, establishing a brand takes years. So it's something I would wait and see what happens.
Okay, long range and a wait and see. And Vishal.
I'm echoing Chris here. I like this one. I like this sector long term because I think people are going to be looking at vitamins and supplements as we continue on in the future. I might not get in right now. I would just let this play out, see if any news comes out. But I do like the stock above 72 cents here. But I just wouldn't chase right now. I would wait for a little bit of a better entry and maybe some news here as well.
All right, some interesting perspectives. And by the way, Chris, it's not it's not just the telltale sign is not when you're getting up. It's the guys that when you're sitting back down. Oh. That's the other big
I
thing.
think that just means you have kids.
Oh, you're not kidding.
Or an ex-wife.
So had that conversation earlier today, actually. The advice we have given you, or the suggestions or ideas we have given you, are not guaranteed. You must do your own research. And plus, nobody's really telling you to run out and spend your money right now anyway on this one. But past performance does not guarantee future results. So do your homework before you do your investing. And thank you for joining us on this Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable with Element Nutritional Services. It is indeed on the Canadian Exchange, ELMT. We'll see you next time.